Hello storyteller friends, and welcome to the first preview of the editing experience in Instorier. In this video we're going to create the digital story that you see in the background here, containing a few different types of typographic elements, some background images, and a background carousel. And with that, let's jump into the editing experience. This is the first thing you'll see when you create a new story. You'll be able to give a name to your story, and when you're happy with that you can click save, which takes you into the styling menu. Here you can change background colors, you can change the typography and styles of your story, so if you want to set a specific alignment for heading text or paragraph text, you can do that here. You can then look at the preview on the right side to check that the typography looks good, and if you're happy with that you can scroll to the bottom and click I'm done. This takes you into the main view of the editor. Here on the right side you can see the sections that you have. On the left side is a preview of the story. Right now we have one element that is a huge heading with the title of the story, and if we want to add new sections we can do that by clicking the green button here. That creates a new section and you can now scroll through the story. So what do we want to do for the second section is to start adding elements. Click add new, add a rich text, and then paste in our paragraph. For this specific story, I have a couple of more sections in mind, so I'll start by adding a new one. Click Add New Element, which is a rich text element. Paste in our text, and I think it would look nice to right align the text in this case. So we right align the container for the text, and now if we scroll through the story, we can see that we have a bit more dynamic text. So we'll add one more section, and this time we'll add a quotes and paste in our text. We'll remove the author, and you can see that it's now starting to look like a proper story. So what we want to do here for the title is that it's not center aligned. So we'll first go into the huge heading settings and then center align the text, and in addition to that we want to center it within its section. So we can click on the section settings and then click on the center content toggle. That would center the text within that specific section. And we'll repeat that for all the sections in the rest of the story. Now that we have centered our content, we can scroll through the story, and if we want a full preview of how it's going to look for the users, you can click on the full preview mode, then scroll through, and then you get a better sense of how it's going to look for the reader of the story. So far we've been focusing a lot on the text content, but if we want things to happen in the background, you can look at timeline elements. So these are a special type of elements that go in the background of your story. We have our sections set up, but right now it would be nice to get some images into our story, and we can do that by adding timeline elements. Here are a few different types, and I want to use an image for the background, so I'll choose image. I'll select the one that I have and upload it. And what happens then when you go out back to the story is you can see that you have a timeline for that image, and that timeline contains both the opacity and some position, which you can drag the handles to adjust. And when you scroll down, you can now see that the opacity goes from 0 to 1. You can find out the value of the keyframe by clicking on it. So here we can see that the opacity was 0. If we click on the second one, you can see that it's 1. So on the top of the story, we probably want the image to be visible immediately, so we can edit the 0 opacity to be 1. So now that when the user visits the story, it will be visible by default. You can also see here how the image fades out when you go to the second section because of the bottom keyframe. And again, if we want to see a full preview of how it's going to look for the user, then click on the full preview mode and start scrolling. And so far we played around with the opacity keyframes, but you can also edit the position by clicking the bottom keyframe and moving the image a bit upwards towards the end. And then when you scroll down, you get a smooth parallax effect going with the image. What you also have are different image effects that you can turn on. So we have one called auto zoom animation, which gives a little bit of movement and life to your image. And when you then scroll down, you can see those two effects in parallel, both the auto zoom going and the parallax when you scroll down. Right now we only have an image for the top section. So we want to make some space and add new images for the other sections. So we'll start by adding one new image. You choose your image, you select the one that you want, and this time we want to crop the image to get only the parts that we're interested in. So you click upload, and then when you go outside you can see in the timelines that you have a new image there. You can drag that out and move it down to where the second section starts. Choose the opacity fade in, and then you can see that we have a full new image. In this case the image is a bit big. So maybe we'll make it half the size of the screen, and the way to do that is go into the image settings. Then you can choose the frame width to be 50%, and then choose the alignment to be right. So when you then go out and see the preview, you can see that you have it perfectly placed on the right side of the screen, which serves as a nice contrast to the text on the left side. If we then want to add some movement to the image, we'll do it the way we did before, by going into the timelines and click on the position keyframes and specify that it'll start from the bottom and go towards the top. And when you start scrolling, you can see that we have the same parallax effect as before. If you want to remove the black bars that we have on the bottom and top of the image, you can go into image settings and specify that the image should be a bit taller than the viewport, so let's say 120%. And then when you scroll up and down, you won't see any of the black bars anymore. What we have now is a story with an image on top and an image for the second section, but we're missing images for the third and fourth sections. And in order to make something interesting happen there, we open the timeline view. We add a new timeline element, and this time we're going to add a carousel, which can contain multiple images or videos. So we'll start by uploading our images. We'll select a new one, and then finally a third one. And when we then go out of the carousel, you can see that we have a new timeline for the carousel. So we can drag that down to section number 3, and then we start seeing something. And when a carousel is in view, it will animate between the different images or videos that you uploaded. When using carousels, you also have the options to turn on image effects. So here we can turn on auto zoom animation for each one of the images individually. And when you go out then, you see that you have a nice little zoom effect going, together with the fade out that already exists within the carousel. The only thing missing now is a nice image to round up our story. So we'll add a new timeline element. It should be an image. We choose our image like we did before, upload it, and this time we'll turn on auto zoom animation immediately. So when we go out, we can adjust our timelines. We bring it down to the final section and add a nice fade in and take a look at the result. When we're finally ready to share our story, we can open the Publish dialog, hit the Publish Story button, and share the URL that we get back. If you click the link, you can see that your story now is published and open for the world to experience. So this is it. This is how you create a nice looking story website using Instorier. We hope you have enjoyed the first proper showcase of the editor, and we'll see you soon.